A body beauty blogger, they keep planting and flowers grow. All the time, a man walking with a bag of cats on his back, appearing at the station at dawn. Exactly. And also the clothing machine that can literally eat people while they're alive. And the cosmetic surgery woman who hunts beautiful girls. But oh, have you seen how many scary stories happened at this small metro station? One by one, these legends. Has time buried them? It will start to reveal them. It's terrifying reality. The movie starts with Mida Kyung. She was a poor blogger, sitting on the ground. And in order to revive her dead channel, she decided to go. The station supervisor is asked about the legends of this station. But as soon as the supervisor recognized her, he waved his belly to the right and told her, "Go back to where you came from," because he doesn't like to do it. Profit and money from people's suffering. But luckily, Kyung had studied well and was prepared. The station watchman was not dying in fame and not money. He was just a drinker. Originally and newly, Kyung had a liquor store in Gyeongju, meaning the family has a decent stock. From the fine wine, of course, the look was the taste. And the blurriness of his eyes agreed. He tells her one story. Only, on a late night, a young man named An Ring. He was lying down, drunk as mud in the metro, and suddenly the metro made an emergency stop. He hit the ground and fainted, but one of the passengers or someone, Henry Ang, was sitting on the chair, dizzy, and he noticed a girl with long hair nodding her head at the metro entrance. He wasn't paying attention, and when the train arrived, he went running to the supermarket to get coffee, plain, to wake up. But the girl working there was glued to her phone and couldn't find the coffee. Henry Ang has been making fun of her for an hour, and he says to her, "Are you illiterate or what? A coffee package. Can't find it." And when he came to pay, the card appeared wrong. He also laughed a forced laugh and left while mumbling and insulting the girl's stupidity. He took a coffee and returned to the metro to change trains. He found the same. She is still banging her head against the door, and when the passengers got off, he noticed that she was hitting much harder. So he got scared and slipped into another car while swearing. She has it in its secret. At this moment, his mother called him. He tried to adjust his voice so she wouldn't notice that he had grown a mustache. But his mother was clever and perceptive, and she was still mocking him. When she suddenly fell silent, Han Reng was surprised. He looked at the phone. He found that his mother had sent him a video. In the video, he saw the woman, a mother with long hair, standing behind him. Outside the metro car, she was still banging her head against the door. His body was hairier from the shock, and when he turned his face, he found the old man sitting in front of him starting to. He also lifts his head. And at that moment, the woman appeared outside the window of that car as well. And suddenly, the light went out. Hannah Yang grabbed his phone, Noor. Both of them disappeared. He still catches his breath and says Alhamdulillah. The lady appeared again, hitting harder and harder until suddenly her head flew off her body. The severed piece rolled under her leg, and Yang came out. He runs from the terror, but the woman's body is without a head running after him. And suddenly Henry woke up from the nightmare. He was drowning and shocked. Looking around him, he didn't find the lady. But the old woman was still sitting in the corner. The internal announcer said that the next station. Joan Gillam saw that Ring came down quickly and hit a man wearing a cap, laughed at himself and said that this is just a nightmare. What is he afraid of? But oh. Dub walked a few steps. No, the exit he had just come down from was closed because of an accident, and he heard the familiar sound of a knock. He turned his face and found her standing there. He turned his neck. The slowness. But the woman had appeared behind him. He pushed him in the tunnel. And there were surveillance cameras. No woman appeared, and the case was recorded as suicide. And here is the station supervisor. His mind was on the price of drinking, and the people of Deokyeong rely on God and move forward. And when she returned to work, she told the production manager. And Jun and her idea about the story of the station's suicide. Joan Glem. At that time, Hagen, the beauty channel presenter, came in and started mocking And Da Kyung says changing the activity is better for you. These horror stories are over for her, and have become an old trend, and you will lose more followers. Dae Kyung designed to prove everyone wrong. They were mistaken, and she grabbed another bottle of wine and went to the caretaker to ask him if he had a cooler story than hers. Did you miss it? The inspector. He tried to ring her and told her he saw her channel and there are not even 100 views on it. These words hurt. Da Kyung was sad. In itself. In the past, it used to bring, but Korea is a small country and horror legends were crushed once by every blogger, and there are no more. Something new. You make a lot of people laugh. I gave up. But this is Kyung. No. And because it is difficult for him. And her persistence pleased the viewer, he agreed to tell the story. The second one was a student who endured the hardships of life just to get something she didn't have. She spent her blood, her heart, on cosmetic surgeries for her whole face only. In the subway, she saw a girl whose beauty was divine, named Miho. Maybe the looks of the woman who does surgeries were very sharp. Right, Miho. She got up. She moved away from him. And suddenly, she bumped into her old teacher. She had admired him all her life. But still, she would hand over her fiancé. He came and hugged Migo. She felt a lump in her throat. And she took it off from him as an excuse. And after she went down, she felt someone walking behind her. She looked around but found no one. She rode the stairs. The electricity that he put in. They are all beauty ads, and she is changing the country. She found a woman having surgery standing next to her. And she tells her, "Your nose is very nice." Megosh repeated it in surprise. But the woman, he preferred to repeat the sentence like a parrot. My cousin was worried, and changed the car and went to stand in the middle of the people too. Feel safe. He looked behind but didn't find the woman. Her reflection was visible in the door glass. She was hiding in the corner, wondering if the lady would come closer, and people didn't seem to notice her at all. He took out his phone. Imagine, and I discovered that the camera wasn't actually working, and at that moment, some of the liquid in the lady's hand spilled onto the ground. White smoke appeared and reacted like water to fire. Migo got scared and ran out to the garage. She found beauty advertisements surrounding her from every side, and the woman. She runs after her. She went into the bathroom and locked herself in. She called the police. The police asked her for the address. And she described the woman. Migu is still describing her. Suddenly, she remained silent and disclaimed. She told the police that there was a madman chasing her, but she didn't say that she was a woman. How did the officer find out? She lifted her head. Slowly, the top was in terror. She saw a cup of water. The fire is rising above the bathroom door, and the woman is looking at it from above, and she poured the whole cup on. Wash Migo. And here is the story of the supervisor. It's finished. And Do Kyung went to Gwangjelam station. She imagined and held a thread, and in the editing she stayed up all night for him. She saw a pale shadow inside what wasn't showing in the views. Finally, she fired a shot, and then she went to thank the supervisor. And you hear the third story for most people. The metro is a means of transportation. But for the homeless, it is their home against the rain and cold. The man, his beginning wasn't bad. He was just an ordinary employee, like anyone else. No one expected that he would gradually lose everything, his respectable job and his family. Then his mind regained control of himself. His life collapsed, until he hit rock bottom. The money he had wasn't even enough for a pack of instant noodles, so he was rummaging in the coin slots of the machine. He would rummage through the trash. And on lucky days, he would find a few coins. And one day he found a coin. Strange red. I don't know what this is. He carried it in his pocket temporarily, but he went into the bathroom and came out. Like a ghost thug, he stole all the change that. His trick. The thug doesn't recognize this red coin. So he threw it on the ground and the homeless man went to the place boiling with gas. Saw the second sidewalk and there was nothing on it. A man wearing a suit. He prefers to shout and scream. In the empty station at night, there is no one. He will hold him accountable then. He noticed a strange red selling machine, and its lid has the same coin drawn on it. Whoever found it jumped with joy, put the coin in, and a plain red box came down to him without any writing. He opened and there was no drink in it. But, at that time, the man with the suit on the other side disappeared and left his suit and made me blush. The ground. The homeless man immediately took the suit and went in. He searched the pockets and found a wallet full of money. He wore the suit and went to have dinner with its money with him. The remaining 2 coins, and he resisted his desire to drink alcohol and returned to the station. He decided to try his luck again. Maybe this suit is tied to the machine, and when he got off another box, the thug showed up to steal it again, the homeless man. Out of fear, he pulled the lid of the box onto the thug's face. The thug mounted firmly and fell on. He got on it and disappeared in his place, leaving his clothes behind as well. The homeless man is still processing it. He saw the thug naked and smeared, and trapped inside the machine, and next to the clothes, 3 appeared. Red coins increased and the thug disappeared from inside the machine. Even though the matter is crazy, it doesn't make sense. As long as the homeless person is bringing money, he's fine. Awesome. In the following days, he made up his mind and started making money online. Every day, he became addicted to the taste of easy money and started showing off extravagantly. He spends without caring, and when he goes to the supermarket, he doesn't take the change until he talks to us. It will disappear. Red coins appear, and the money won't run out, and with the money made him drink like crazy again, and one day, while he was completely drunk, he entered the station and saw a man with long hair at the red machine. When he focused, and he fainted from the shock of the extraordinary news. This man was actually his old self. It turned out that the man in the suit who disappeared first one night, there was another copy of him before he could think about the second copy. I opened the box, and in a moment, it was the homeless man who got trapped inside the machine. And after seconds, it disappeared without a trace. And it left only its owner's suit, unknown, thrown on the ground. When the superintendent finished her 3rd story, No, Jae Kyung fell asleep. In her sleep, she was dreaming happily, dreaming that her channel became trending and that Woojin finally, he confessed his love to her. But dreams have to end. Healthy on her desk, she saw Wine's report on EGN. And it causes her trouble. And the woman is closer than him. When El Da Kyung saw them looking at her, a mocking and provocative gesture, as if it's heartache. Not enough followers. Crazy, she was ahead of her by light years, and this is something Da Kyung can't digest. She went to complain and vent to the principal, who apparently has taken this office as his headquarters. After Al Nasser heard her, he said to her, people will always crave what is not in their hands. Sometimes when you look at what is in your hand, you might find happiness, but running after what you lack can make you lose everything. And he also told her that he is sick and dying and his days counted, so please don't come again. This. Kyung said goodbye and returned to the company, and found it empty. And there was no one. Worry began to play in her mind. And suddenly the light shone. The number of subscribers hit the sky, and the company was throwing a surprise party just for her. From so much joy, she sat down. She was reading the fans' comments until a strange user caught her attention, insisting that she delete the videos immediately. She felt that there was something behind the matter, so she went to meet the person who commented at Talat Cafe. A woman wearing sunglasses was sitting opposite her while she was nervous. The woman said she saw something strange. At the supermarket is the Joan Glem station, and it has a connection to the Joan Glem sect that disappeared decades ago. The lady spoke hysterically that the station is built on top of the old church of the sect, and that is the reason for the phenomena that happen. Then she removed the glasses and revealed her right eye that was distorted and messed up, and after a few moments, the lady ran out of fear, and Dae Kyung couldn't control herself and went online to search for this cult. I found out that a year ago there was a mass suicide in the Joan Jalim church in which one of the followers died. They believed that, whether to reach immortality, if someone else had said that, they would have said these are exaggerations, but Kyung believed that there are things behind it. Nature really exists, but now, after her channel stood on its own, it is very hard for her to delete the videos and waste her efforts while she is hesitant. I heard the sound of nearby talking. I approached cautiously. She saw Wajie Chen taking his ease with her, burning with fire. She said, in her heart, she was worried. He was always hoping in her, and I was giving her the wrong signals. And now, I just realized that she was just a backup for him. At this moment, Jung Azam Da Kyung. She has dinner with him, when she saw him lying and being stubborn like that. This is Kyung crumpling the notebook in her hand. And she told him to his face that the dinner was with someone like him is a waste of time. And at night, I went back to the overseer. And no matter what, his face was upside down. I kept pressing him to tell her another story. The overseer. He was surprised and asked her, didn't you reach 1 million? That's enough. But then Kyung got upset and told him that she needed new stories to keep going. These are the followers. And she looked at the soaked tissues. The office cried, and she told him, since you are like this, you won't live long. Don't tell everything, the stories you have before you die, and that's it. And do one good deed. The observer smiled bitterly, and said to her, shall I tell you one story about anyone exactly like you? You two are like two halves of one fava bean split in two. Do you both live just for people's attention? This girl drives crazy with her beauty and charming tongue. Many followers, and one day while she was riding the metro, she grabbed a pole, and she found in her palm a strange golden substance. She took out a tissue and quickly wiped it. But because of this holiday, she missed it. When she got to the office, she saw Jin talking with Da Kyung. It will ruin their mood. The atmosphere. The lame word hurt that. Kyung changed, repeated it later, and Jen came. He says, hey Jin, ease up a bit on that. Kyung. Haejin acted innocent and said that colleagues should support each other, and that it was in her interest, but as soon as she finished speaking, her nostrils flared. Blood. She went to the bathroom to wash. She found red spots. Strange on the palm of her hand. She went to the hospital. The doctor asked her if she touched something dirty. She was about to freak out. In her mind, she took the subway. The doctor prescribed her medicine. And he told her to follow up on the symptoms, and at night she was relaxing in the subway. Before smart, we force the station, and I couldn't. She stops herself from going, annoys her, and proves her existence. She used to enjoy mocking the bloggers who were below her. That Kyung wanted to get rid of her. She was walking and talking when suddenly her nostrils went crazy. Blood exploded. I ran to the bathroom to clean up. But when I looked at the palm of her hand, I found it full of holes. Black like the shower. And in the following year, a warning comes from a terrified nightmare. And I looked at her hand. Thank God, her appearance wasn't as scary as the dream was beyond everyone. He was celebrating the views of Da Kyung. Hae-jin felt an intense hatred. Why does the girl get the spotlight so easily and at night at the station? The subway, its nostrils were bleeding again. And this time, the holes and pits in its hands were real. She got scared, got off at the nearest station, and ran to the bathroom. You see, I found the sores. They spread all over her body. Even her neck. If it keeps going like this, it will reach her face. She will panic. I got the ointment out. But someone knocked on the door asking if you were here. NZ returned and I told him to go away, but when I looked down I found a small plant growing between the paving stones. The worms that are in her skin are crawling quickly on her face. In the end, they will come out. Don't enter the bathroom, and her whole body is covered, a blooming rose. Dha Kyung heard the story and said, surely the supervisor scares me. She changed the subject and asked him if he knew the story of the Joan Glem sect. The records say that they committed suicide because Cloud is their leader and people still believe that he is alive. She wanted to do an interview with someone from the sect, so she asked the supervisor if he could connect her. At the same time, a police detective. She came. A company is looking for her, but she was outside. Collecting this. This scene was transferred. That's Kyung. And she is standing in an empty metro station. The supervisor had told her that the time on Friday in Qatar would be like this even if you ride it. Will you be able to meet the person you want? I stopped, nervous on the sidewalk, and when the time came. Exactly. She heard our voice, and the cat looked surprised. She went to see what was going on. Suddenly, the station lights lit up, and a man appeared sitting with a cat backpack on his back for a moment, and the internal announcer spoke, and the man didn't lift his eyes. But the bag behind him made a loud and terrifying screeching sound. As soon as the train arrived, Dae Kyung got on quickly and turned her face to look at the man. He is still sitting in his place playing on the phone, and suddenly, he raised his head and fixed his gaze on her with a terrifying look. Kyung got scared and got up to change the car. That's it. The man is not behind her. She quickened her pace until the light in the car went out. She quickly turned on her phone's flashlight and saw the man standing a little far away, and he laid it on his back. And suddenly his head and it sat inside a bag. The cat and his body without a head. He started to stagger and walk towards it. But King, I screamed, and ran. All the way, but at that critical moment, the train doors were not opening, fortunately. Botta suddenly stopped as she threw herself out. Thank God this time the man didn't follow her. And before she could catch her breath, she realized that the place was not normal, the stairs were dilapidated, and the paint. A reality as if abandoned for years, and the darkness hides troubles. Then pieces of scrap and solid chaos, and an annoying sound, and its doors open with a tear, and on. A person found a wireless device on the ground that looked strange. And the scene cut to Wagon asking the police if they want Daki and his children, the investigator, because of her. She said in the video that she did an interview with the station manager, but the real station manager is not the man she met. The manager, the real one, has been missing for 3 years. At that time, Dae Kyung grabbed the wire. That causes interference, and the principal's voice came out telling her. In truth, he was just a poor employee at the station working night shifts, and one night he saw someone lost in the tunnel after hours, so he sent. What does the young security guard see in him, that guard? He was the man with the cat bag. He loved cats and was in a hurry to eat them. And he was swearing, there is no one inside the view. He was told by Al-Haraz that precaution is necessary, because someone tried to film a video below before. The guard took the flashlight by force and went down. The metro tunnel was as dark as coal and stretched to infinity, and there was no cry of a 2-day-old baby. But he continued, and the supervisor fell asleep in front of the screens, and time. 1 year, and when we called the guard on the radio, he said to him there is nothing. Al-Nazar swore he saw someone and said he would go deeper, barely finishing the sentence. One of the screens froze. He told him to go back and check again, but the wireless went silent. It wasn't in front of him. The only solution was for him to go down the tunnel himself. Suddenly, Qatar, behind it, a red light appeared. He was surprised and went out to see. Suddenly, a hand hit the window from outside. He fell to the ground from the shock. And in front of the train, he heard a scratching sound. And when he went to open the driver's cabin, he found no one, and at the moment the train started moving. Suddenly, it was as if the driver was scared to drive while the observer tried. The cabin door is opened, but it's no use. And from outside, the view changed. The windows are covered with writings in blood. And countless hands are banging on the glass. Look, try to pull the emergency brake. And finally, the bleeding stopped, and the hands disappeared. But the doors wouldn't open while he was dying of fear. Sound. The guard received a message from the radio, so the superintendent replied. He calls for his help and tells him that he is confined. The sound was cutting off, but one sentence came through clearly. I see you looking out the window and seeing the guard. Really far, but a few seconds to realize that someone is holding the severed head. The guards won his hand, and before he could do anything, the train moved. Then he was thrown to the ground. And this time, he never got out, and now it's his turn. Ahn Da-kyung, she was the one imprisoned from outside. The ghost superintendent or the curse laughed and said to her, "Didn't you want to meet the leader? The train. Where will it take you?" As soon as he finished speaking, the train moved. And this is what Kyung saw. Another version of her standing outside the window. And this means that the look that was outside wasn't real. And as soon as a sacrifice is imprisoned in the train, an alternative appears outside and lives in its place. This is the end of the movie, and we meet in a new summary. Thank you for watching.